This month, we explore Qatar's contemporary and historic Olympic and Sports Museum. We meet another of FIFA's World Cup ambassadors who feels his country may have an advantage in Qatar. And we visit another one of Qatar's new futuristic stadiums. With less than 4 months to the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 kickoff, technical and administrative representatives of the 32 participating member associations arrived in Doha for one final workshop. FIFA President Gianni Infantino and Q22's CEO Nasser Al-Hatta opened the proceedings. The workshop was an opportunity for the qualified nations to learn how the 22nd edition of FIFA's flagship event will be run in Qatar. Team USA's Managing Director of Administration, Tom King, was present and highlighted the importance of this workshop.
I think it's incredibly important because you can't just assume that the processes from one World Cup gets moved over to the next one. Things get tweaked after every World Cup, and it's really quite extraordinary how well FIFA and the local organising committee and Qatar 22 are all working so closely together to make sure that every single World Cup gets better and better for the players and for the fans and for the overall experience, including the eyeballs on the televisions around the world. It really is remarkable, and some of the things that we've seen added for this particular World Cup is just going to take the World Cup to a whole new level.
Each member association could send representatives from each functional area of their national team. For Football Australia's marketing manager, Nicole Zosch, it will be her first taste of a FIFA World Cup.
It's my first team workshop, so it's fantastic to be able to meet other delegates, so it's a great opportunity to meet other teams as well and collaborate as well, share ideas. That's probably a really good highlight, and obviously there's the learning workshops to be able to see the guidelines and know what you can and can't do for the tournament, but to make sure ultimately we're all prepared for the tournament.
In addition to visiting team hotels, stadiums and team base camps, the delegates also took part in different sessions, discussing topics such as a new technology to be applied to refereeing.
This morning was updates really on refereeing and how the referees will referee the competition, so that was very helpful. You have clarity, you don't always agree, but you have some clarity. And then Arsene had a technical panel, so information really on data analysis and the opportunities we'll have to access the footage. So it always very interesting, very helpful for us to be here. We're going to look at some of the stadiums and also visit our training camp, so for us it's a really good couple of days.
With the greatest distance between any two stadiums being 75 kilometres, national teams will not have to travel extensively for each match, allowing maximum recovery for the players. Those responsible for keeping players in top physical shape appreciate the compact nature of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 more than any other team staff member.
This
World Cup, by being centralised, being in one place, in one space, it has its advantages. Because the teams don't have to travel long distances, it's going to be important for structuring the training sessions. It will be much easier to consolidate all the activities that the players have to carry out. The stadiums are real close from one another, which will be important for all the different teams, as well as being important for the fans coming to witness this World Cup, since they will have the possibility of perhaps watching 2 or even 3 matches in the same day.
The fruits of Qatar's 12 years of meticulous planning and preparation for staging the FIFA World Cup are there for everyone to see, especially those who've been regular visitors during the last few years.
I think obviously it's been 3 years now that we've been coming, and
from seeing the base camps, to seeing the stadiums, to seeing all the hard work that is behind the preparation for the World Cup, and now you can feel it. This is the latest stages, and we're all really excited. Now we got the 32 teams, something that we found out just a few weeks ago, and you can start feeling the excitement around it, and the preparations are going extremely well.
With FIFA and the host nation Qatar briefing the 32 participating member associations on their responsibilities, the stage is set for yet another exhilarating football festival in just over 100 days.
دقیقه 83 بازی بود من رفتم چپ زمین بازی می‌کردم من لب خط
It was the 83rd minute of the match and I had switched to the left side of the field. I was standing on the edge of the halfway line like track runners who are about to start their race. I was trying to avoid being in an offside position. The ball reached me and at that point I could only see the ball and the American goal. I think I reached the edge of their penalty box with 2 touches. The only way to score was to hit the ball as hard as I could so that even if the keeper managed to reach it, he wouldn't be able to stop it. This is exactly what happened. Their keeper touched the ball, but my shot still hit the back of the net. You should be happy to score, but when I watched the match later, I could see how tense my face was at that time. This was indicative of all the stress and pressure that we had been under ahead of that World Cup.
Iran's first ever FIFA World Cup victory is etched on Mehdi Mahdavikia's mind, along with those of the rest of his nation. The then 20-year-old was amongst a group of players who propelled Iran to their first finals in 20 years. The winning goal he scored is not his only fond memory of the encounter with the United States at Lyon Stade Roland all those 24 years ago.
ولی اون لحظه‌ای که دو تا تیم اومدن قبل از
Ahead of the kickoff, the 2 teams came together and we handed them a bouquet of flowers. The 2 teams then had a joint team photo taken, which diffused all the tension and helped both sides to play much better. I think that photo has been the most remarkable photo in the entire history of the World Cup. It was a great idea.
و این ایده واقعا ایده خیلی خوبی بود.
Having played 111 times for Iran, he eventually retired in 2013. It didn't take him long to start giving back to football in his native country. Mahdavikia dug deep into his own pocket to establish a youth academy in 2015 in Iran. It started with 15 under-12 players, and since then, up to 4,000 footballers are scouted across Iran, of whom 30 make the grade. The academy now boasts 200 full-time players.
From the outset, our idea was to scout talented players from the most remote and impoverished areas of the country, educate and train them so that they can go and play with the best teams in the world.
In addition to overseeing the operation of his academy, Mahdavikia is involved with Hamburg SV's youth teams and coaches Iran's under-23 team. He's also one of the 20 FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 Global Ambassadors.
I'm so thrilled to extend a helping hand as a FIFA World Cup ambassador. I feel here is like our own homeland. It is so close to Iran. Our national team is here and many of our fans will be here too. It is so special to me.
In his most recent visit to Qatar, Mahdavikia met up with fellow France 98 Team Melli midfielder Hamid Reza Estili, scorer of Iran's first goal in their 2-1 victory over the United States in June 1998. The two visited Doha's Al Thimama Stadium, where Iran and USA will meet to conclude their Group B fixtures on the 29th of November, a date the pair hope would be etched on the minds of Iran's 85 million football fanatic nation.
Dear Hamid, this is our bench in our last game against the US. What do you think would happen?
It is difficult to predict, but I hope that like 24 years ago that we won again. It will be our last game and could be crucial in front of our fans.
Al Thumama Stadium is right in the heart of where Iranians first settled in Qatar 70 years ago. In a way, it feels even more like a home game. Because of Iran's close proximity to Qatar and the fact that quite a few of our players have played in Qatar, we may have a home advantage over the US and England here.
Iran are accustomed to huge support outside their borders. Being the second closest qualified nation to Qatar, they expect to garner even more support this November.
I think our fans are amongst the best in the world. In whatever corner of the world our national team has played, we've had huge support. And the World Cup is on another level, where our fans have always supported the national team in our previous participations. And here, we would feel as if the World Cup were in our own country. I think one of the countries with the highest level of support would be Iran. Our fans would certainly come and support our team.
The Persians need to perform well in their first two matches against England and Wales to make their second FIFA World Cup meeting with the United States as meaningful as their first one. A tall order, but one that Mahdavikia and Estili hope to witness at Al Thumama Stadium, this time from the sidelines. The 321 Qatar Olympic and Sports Museum is a national and international centre for sports history and heritage. The venue at the Khalifa International Stadium is home to some of the most exclusive sports artefacts and memorabilia from around the world. It's a member of Qatar Museums and the Olympic Museum Network, which unites 22 museums worldwide, and is one of the largest of its kind. It sheds light on the evolution of sports. And there's no better way to showcase the nation's passion for it than at 321.
فكرة المتحف الأولمبي الرياضي جاءت من
The idea of an Olympic sports museum came from His Highness the Father Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani due to Qatar hosting several events throughout the years and its huge sports legacy. His Highness wanted to preserve this legacy that started in 1976 when Qatar hosted the 4th Arabian Gulf Cup at Khalifa Stadium up until the 2006 Asian Games. Therefore, Qatar has the right to showcase the 500-plus events they hosted since 2006 until present. Our mission and vision is to educate and inform our visitors of the significance of sports, as per the directions of Her Excellency Sheikh Al Mayasa bint Hamad Al Thani, Chairperson of Qatar Museums.
زيارة مقتنيات والخروج من المتحف.
During the FIFA World Cup, the museum will be at the heart of the tournament and will be a popular destination.
المتحف
We picked the specific location next door to Khalifa International Stadium because there are a lot of sports memories in the area. There is a historical relationship between the museum and the stadium, which are both located at the heart of Aspire Zone next to other sports infrastructures.
المنشآت الرياضية
Qatari weightlifter Fares Ibrahim, who won Qatar's first Olympic gold medal at Tokyo 2020, was present at the official opening of the museum.
So we attended to the opening of this museum, and it was wonderful, wonderful event that also was honored to be part of. Was the opening, of course, was attending His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. And once we're done with the event, we visited the museum and going inside and seeing all these historical moments and historical pieces that the people used in their competition. It was mind-blowing and always made me feel that I don't want to leave the place. I just want to stay here for a couple of days, just seeing piece by piece myself.
The museum contains 7 gallery spaces, focusing on different periods in history. Fares was very fond of his display at the Hall of Athletes, among sporting heroes from around the world.
It's one of the things I'm most proud of, me seeing myself on the display among all those legends, and encouraged me to do more and more and to see myself part of it.
The nearby Khalifa Stadium, which is one of the 8 World Cup venues, is a reminder that the world's biggest football show is just a couple of months away. And all of Qatar's athletes are looking forward to it.
And having the World Cup in Qatar and the Middle East for the first time, it's going to inspire a lot of people from the Middle East and all the new generations from Qatar to start their sports and to work hard for goals. The sports always is a big inspiration for everyone.
During the FIFA World Cup, the museum will be open for the fans on days when no matches are being played at Khalifa International Stadium, so that everyone can enjoy the full experience.
Qatar museums will take part in several activities in the fan zones during the World Cup, and 321 Olympic and Sports Museum will introduce a football exhibition that will start on the 1st of October 2022 and end on the 31st of March of 2023. And these are some of the activities that we will organize in collaboration with the Supreme Committee.
We'd love to tell all the fans, we're really excited to see you in Doha, make it your hometown and enjoy the World Cup, and see you in a few months.
We continue our look back at recent tournaments through the eyes of FIFA World Cup legends. This month, former Côte d'Ivoire captain Yaya Toure relives the summer of 2006.
My favourite World Cup moment was in 2006 in Germany. To play in the World Cup there in 2006, my first World Cup, it was exceptional. Afterwards, it's different because we were in the same group as Argentina, the Netherlands and Serbia. On the face of it, we were the smallest team, so it was very difficult. I was having nightmares. It was so difficult. But afterwards, once I got onto the pitch, it was natural. Because I said to myself that instead of feeling stressed, it's better to enjoy myself, to take pleasure from it. The first 2 matches were Argentina first, and the second was the Netherlands. We lost those 2 matches, so we had to win the last match. And we were the weaker team. We played against Serbia in the last match. We went down 1-0. I had a friend who played for Serbia, and I think we won the match 3-2. But that day we beat Serbia, some of our team played over there, and my teammate played for them, so I made fun of him when we went back to our club.
Toure went on to play in 2 more FIFA World Cups. In 2010, he scored the opening goal against Korea DPR in a 3-0 victory. And in 2014, proudly captained Les Éléphants in their opening match against Japan. The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will be the most compact tournament in modern times. The 8 venues that host the 64 matches of FIFA's showpiece event later this year are dotted around 70 kilometres of Qatar's 200-kilometre coastline. Janoub Stadium is the most southern venue amongst the 8, and like the other 7 stadiums, has its own distinct design, very much rooted to its surrounding locality. Lifelong local resident, former Al Wakrah Sports Club player, and most recently Al Janoub Stadium project manager, engineer Abdulaziz Al Ishaq, has witnessed how a small fishing and pearling village has evolved into Qatar's second largest city, 20 kilometres south of Doha. He's thrilled with his hometown's iconic addition.
As you are aware, that we are in the southern part of the state of Qatar, and this part is quite an old part. It has been inhabited for a long time, and people here, they used to go for fishing, diving, and pearl collections. Al Wakrah, it means that a Wakrah, a place where people gather, but with honor. It's a shelter of honor called Al Wakrah. And when it has been decided that this stadium to be built here, it is really an honor from the government to the people of Wakrah to give them this much of a landmark.
Al Wakrah Sports Club, Qatar's third oldest club, has been at the heart of the city since its foundation. The club is active in a number of sports disciplines, but football has always been the favourite, as its former president recalls.
The club was founded in 1959. I remember back then the area was empty. It was just the sports club and the sea. And we used to play football together in the neighbourhoods.
The municipality of Al Wakrah constructed the 10,000 capacity Al Wakrah Stadium in 1984. The football club, along with other sports, moved to their new home, where the football side celebrated 2 domestic league titles in 1999 and 2001. With Al Wakrah being one of the host venues in Qatar's winning bid, the authorities turned to British Iraqi designer and architect, the late Zaha Hadid, to design a new venue befitting this part of the country.
We believe the stadium is unique because we really set out to create something that was unique. I think this is how we always look at architecture, that it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of capital investment, and it has to be worth something. And particularly a public building with a civic quality such as this. It needed to represent Al Wakrah, it needed to represent the country, and it looks like a series of shells that come together. This idea of the collective was key to us because stadiums are about congregation. So for us, the collective is something that's very familiar in Islamic architecture.
Al Janoub Stadium was inspired by the sails of traditional dhow boats used by pearl divers from the region. The curvilinear roof and exterior references Al Wakrah's history of seafaring. The stadium has an advanced cooling system. Combined with its retractable roof, this advanced cooling technology can reduce high temperatures to 18 degrees Celsius all around the stadium and its field of play.
Under each seat there is a box. Each box is one of a kind. It was designed at Qatar University and made of plastic material. The air goes out gently beneath the spectators. Then it is extracted and recycled again. This is one of the things that makes the technology sustainable. We do not air condition the whole stadium, but target where the spectators are. And this technology is unique from Qatar to the world.
Al Janoub Stadium was the first of the new venues to be inaugurated. The 40,000 capacity venue opened its doors with the 2019 Amir Cup final, preceded by a spectacular ceremony and a special tribute to Zaha Hadid. The stadium hosted 6 FIFA Arab Cup matches and will house Al Wakrah Sports Club after the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022.
The question is now, why we have selected this color? This color because the government have decided at the end of the World Cup, this stadium will be given to the local club. The local club, their colors for shirts is this color, white, blue, and dark blue. and at the same time it gives the rivets of the waves here. And as you know that this stadium is almost 40,000 capacity of the spectators. 20,000 will remain. The other 20,000 it will be dismantled, which is the upper tier.
Reigning champions France launched their title defence on the 22nd of November against Australia. Al Janoub will host a further 5 first-round group matches and 1 round of 16 game.
I'm so happy, so glad. I see what has started from paperwork, from concept, from discussions, from meetings, until you see all of this in front of you.
Next month, as the FIFA World Cup edges even closer, the countdown clock reaches another milestone. We meet Qatar's most successful athlete, who's the world's greatest. And we see the football season returning as the Qatar Stars League kicks off.